Okay, exciting. We're back on my regular Zoom account. It's a great day. Okay, if you weren't here last week, that was a big mess up on my account, and now we're back on technologically. So we'll record this for everybody doing the gut protocol in July. And if you are in that group, I also included a video from last year. I believe it was from May, so that may have been our second round. So we were much more knowledgeable as we went through it. And it's like the first week of gut protocol May recording in the group so that you can, get a few more if we missed something here, if you need some more information. So tonight we're just going to kind of go through like the getting started and, just kind of getting prepped. Several of us have gone through it. Bev, are you laughing at the paper sounds?
Yeah. Oh God, can you guys hear me?
It's very amusing.
Yes,
like
and that's
so sorry.
Paper that's constant.
It's
right. We love your earbuds.
It's
we love them.
It just cracks me up. I'm like.
So we're going to go through the step by step, but I absolutely, if there's, if we're on a subject or there's something you are unsure of, this is the perfect time to talk about it. And I promise you, if you have the question, someone else in the group has the question, because we have been, I think this is my fifth group, maybe fourth. I think it's fifth group of gut protocol. And there's some nuances in it that aren't 100%. You're like, kind of like, how does that work? And what is that all about? Because there are things in here that are a little more new to us in general. It's some things like fermented foods are not exactly in our repertoire all the time. So, it's one of those things where, we can kind of talk through it and then everybody has a better idea about things. Hello, Renee. And hello, Deepa. Oh, hi, Deepa. All right, so we're just getting started, and what we're gonna, I made a kind of a list of things that I wanted to go through. Yes, sorry. Anybody have a question? Okay. So, as we're getting started in the gut protocol, let's talk first about what's being eliminated. So, we are lowering sugar, but we do not want any artificial sugars. And then we don't want any dairy, gluten. Let's make a number list here so I don't miss anything. Corn, alcohol.
And soy.
No, soy's in there. I don't do soy. What did I miss?
They did say soy, but they said
processed soy, ultra processed soy.
Right. Yeah.
So you can still have your tofus, you can still have your aminos, you can still have things like that.
Corn. I think corn.
I got corn, yeah.
Oh.
Wait, there's 7, isn't there?
No, there was 6 because I just watched the videos again today.
Okay. Artificial sugar, gluten, corn, dairy, alcohol. Who can get the $1 million question here?
Well, it's the processed food. Isn't that part of it?
I don't think that was one. Okay.
I just have this. I don't know what.
So big points for whoever can get that before the end of the call.
Okay.
Those are the main subjects. So now when we're getting into the details, like during this process, you're going to become a very good label reader. The easiest thing to do is to just pick things that don't have an ingredients list, right? Don't have a label. Your fruits, vegetables, meats, things that are not in a box, in a container. That way, you know that there aren't additional ingredients. But as you're going through, anytime you want, let's say a salad dressing or anything you're adding in, you're going to, even canned tomatoes, vegetable broth, you're going to turn that label, turn that box over and look at the nutrition label. And you're looking for in the ingredients list, if there's any added sugars, and you're also looking for on the label, the added sugar category. So, or artificial sugars. Anything that says no sugar added is an indicator that they likely added an artificial sugar. Unsweetened means there shouldn't be anything added to it. but no sugar added means artificial sugar. So as you're going through, you're just going to want to get in that habit, which, oh, so it was the processed soy.
Processed
Number
soy. Yes.
6. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Jen. If anybody can, the chat's going to, if you'd like to put things in the chat or read as you go. Okay, so you're really going to get good at reading labels. We found last year, it was fascinating, like vegetable broth had added sugar. I'd have never even like turned that box over to look. So you want to be looking out for those things. If you're going to go on, if you want to use coconut aminos, like tonight I made a Asian stir fry type thing and I use coconut aminos instead of a soy product. So in the coconut aminos, you want to be really cautious looking for the added sugars in there. There are several brands that don't have added sugars, but you have to make sure you find those. Okay. And if there's any questions as we go, feel free to yell out, or if you want to put your hand up on the Zoom call. So one of the things we'll be also looking at is caffeine. 200 milligrams a day. You can have coffee up to 3 times a week. Now, the reason for not having coffee is it is acidic. And so this 4 weeks is really a time to let your gut heal, have an easier time of things. You're feeding it all the fiber, all the veggies, all the nutrients for it to do its best. So 3 times a week on the coffee. You'll want to remain under that 200 milligram threshold. So depending on your type of coffee, that it could be like 1 iced coffee. So cold brew is higher, nitro is higher. Espresso is actually one of the lower ones. I think it's roughly 80 milligrams a shot of espresso. So just look and see what kind of coffee you're drinking. You can Google that to see kind of, what the milligrams average out to. If you're having Energize in the morning, 1 scoop is 100 milligrams. And so if you're a 2 scooper, then you've hit your threshold for the day.
So does that mean it's 200 milligrams a day or 200 milligrams for the week?
A day.
Okay.
Yeah, a day. And the reason also is what you're going to find with this when you lower your caffeine intake. If you were an over caffeine user, or if you're a user, even if everybody responds differently. So some people could use 300 milligrams and that's too much for them. They create a response to it and you have a lull in the afternoon. You don't have quite the amount of natural energy. It could be 600 for you. But the point being is when you lower the caffeine levels, you're then going to find what your natural energy is like what your body creates, how you feed off of it. And I found it once you get through that first week, if you're an over caffeine user, you might have some headaches. You might want to start toning it down now, just taking those a little bit lower. Or you can even do it into that first week, just kind of keep going lower. And so you really just want to watch that level and go for it. Experience what it's like to not be fully caffeinated all the time. All right. So Jen, you want to talk about your pickled question? So, okay. So you're going to order some pickled ginger. Now, pickled is not the same as fermented. And I think that often gets kind of thrown in together. So when so one of the things we're going to be doing on this is you want to have a fermented food 3 times a week. I'm having a fermented kombucha right now. This is a no added sugar. You've probably seen in the nutrition chat, a lot of times we'll post the Synergy brand. That is a no sugar added. It's delicious flavor. Like I love every one of them. This one happens to be a cherry coconut lemongrass. It's one of their summer series. And so, and you can find them on sale quite often. Now, somebody's gonna have to correct me on this. Is it a 6-ounce serving? Is the serving size, I believe, for kombucha? And that counts as 1 serving of a fermented food. Yes, the Peach Paradise is amazing. I love that one too. So I believe it's 6 ounces. And that will be in the food list under the yellow. And so fermented is when something is put into a salty water and it's left to let the bacteria do some goodness to it and create some some fun flavors and goodness. A lot of us were having sauerkraut, the kind that's refrigerated. If it's shelf stable, it is not still fermenting, right? So you want something that's in the refrigerated section. Cleveland brand was very good. There was like a beet version, a cabbage version. I think my favorite was the roasted garlic. Lots of different options there. There's kimchi's. I even just saw Cleveland has a brand of kimchi that is mild. So if you're not into the spice, or kimchi can get a little bit funky, there's some fish sauce in there. So, you just kind of have to experiment with some different things that you want to try. There is a recipe for fermented blueberries. It's kind of a salty blueberry is how it comes out. So if you're going into it thinking it's going to be this amazing sweet blueberry, it's turned a little salty and just kind of a little briny.
So kombucha, it's 6 fluid ounces equals a half a B
A half a B yellow.
yellow.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So, and that counts as one, and technically you're not supposed to have a full kombucha in a day. They do, if you just twist that cap back on, they do hold till the next day. So if you kind of go halvesies on it, I can't remember how many are in there. I think it's 8. I think 8 ounces would be half in there. I think they're 16-ounce bottles, at least the ones I get. So look and see, play around with it. Honestly, if the worst thing you do is have 2 extra ounces of kombucha, everything's gonna be just fine.
Well,
So,
and it does
yeah.
have sugar in it. So like that comes up every single time.
Yes.
There is sugar in kombucha. That's how it ferments. But the key is to look to see if there is added sugars.
Yes.
Like because some actually add in additional sugars to make it a sweeter drink. And so that's the key. Actually, a lot of the brands add in extra sugars
A lot.
or artificial sweeteners.
Yes.
Or I guess I should say.
Yes. And you're going to see a lot of phrases like prebiotic drink or kefir. Kefir is one I think of them. And then, I mean, there's just a lot of different things, probiotic drinks. You are looking for a kombucha. A true kombucha is a fermented tea. So, just kind of read your ingredients, see what they're adding in on the back. And then along the lines of sugar, I think I forgot to touch on 10 grams of added sugars a day. And that adds up quickly. So this is one area again where this is where the meal planning really comes into play, because if you're going to have some Energize, a Shakeology, you can have a half scoop of Recover then and still get under that 10, but then nothing else in your day has added sugar. Okay, so that means like if you normally put some honey in some tea, or you put something on your toast, well, you're not gonna, you'll have gluten-free toast if you want it, but I'm saying like so look at your day, what normal foods you eat, and just kind of pinpoint where those areas are of added sugar so that you're in that. And if you are on maintenance, which I will be, that's 15 grams of sugar. You get to bump it up. That means I get my full scoop of Recover. Oh yeah, thanks, Bev. Wild brine is also a great one. You'll see these in the refrigerated section. Generally, ours are always by the tofu and other packaged vegan items. That's a lot of times where our, fermented foods are. And there's more and more coming into the stores all the time. It's definitely something that's increasing and should be in just about every store. Miso is also another great one. I'll make a miso soup in the winters. You can do a miso dressing. So that also counts as a fermented food. So I don't do soy, but they do make a chickpea miso here in Portland. I don't know if that's available everywhere. So if you're not a soy user, that you might have an alternative there to some of the, if you want some more Asian flair. Otherwise, it's made from soy, so you can have that. It's not considered ultra processed. Miso is okay for this plan to have as a fermented food. Any questions so far on any of that? We're good? Okay. So the first week, you're gonna cook your vegetables. Now, this is to help in digestion. It's likely you're going to be adding in more vegetables than you've been having before. Like, I believe Plan B is 6 cups. And I don't know if everybody's figured out kind of what plan they're on. We'll go through that in a second, kind of where that's at, how to figure it out. But so 6 cups of veggies and then, you know, a couple of cups of fruit, you're going to have a lot of fiber coming in. So the cooked veggies helps to not be quite as, you know, here you go, digestion. Here's all the stuff to get through right away, so that it hopefully lessens some bloating initially, if this is your first time adding in a lot of vegetables like this. So you may, you know, this first week, you can have some bloating. It's not like you go on the gut protocol and you're instantly bloat free, right? That's not really how this all works. It's going to take your system a little bit of time to adjust to this new amount of fiber. And the other piece of that is you'll notice that pork and beef are once a week. Now, I know we talked in the chat about venison, and I feel like venison's a little bit different than a pork or a beef. But what I would do is just, you know, this is only 4 weeks long. I would use it with some caution. So, you know, use it sparingly. We know chicken, turkey, salmon, shrimp, those things, if you have tolerated them up until this point, should not cause any kind of issue. We're looking to have foods that do not cause extra inflammation, so that everything has a chance to settle down. You get all this fiber in there, all the bacteria in your gut are getting super happy, and everything starts working really well. So I would just say on the venison, if you're in a situation where you can, you know, go down to like the beef and the pork and have it once or twice a week, then I would do that, just to see where you're at. And that way, when you add things back in, you can really tell. Okay. Let's talk workouts. So there is the 4 weeks for everybody. It is a great set of workouts to do on your first time doing the gut protocol. So if you don't have a plan, like you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do exactly, or I just finished this, or you're not totally set on a plan, I would highly recommend doing that plan. It is meant to have your body go through less stress and inflammation. You'll still be lifting weights. You will not lose any strength gains. You will be doing everything at a low, no impact way. So it will not cause inflammation in the joints. You won't have that extra, HIIT type feeling, right? Where you have any kind of swelling. So I'd highly recommend that, especially if it's your first time going through. And then in September, we will be getting a new set of those workouts as the Super Block. So you can also go into doing those again in September too. Now, depending on the workout program you're using, you're going to calculate your calories according to that plan. So what that means is if you're going to do chop wood, carry water, I think a lot of us are doing, right? So I haven't even looked at the plan on that to see how long are our minutes on that one. Do we know if it's considered a moderate or an extremely?
It's 25 minutes to 40 minutes, I believe.
So it's probably going to be moderate. So that means, a moderate level of exercise puts you into, let's go to our calculation here. So I'm just going to go into my body app. And I'm going to go into the general, well, let's see. Let me see if they have the calculations in the gut protocol for moderate. So under resources is where you have the calculate your health, all the food lists, the water bar, those are things you can add into your water to make it more exciting. Treats and substitution, Shakeology bases, all of the things, the extra PDFs that answer a lot of questions.
It looks like they're doing the zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 instead of moderate, hard.
Yes, they are. Yeah, so this would be zone 2. I was just looking though, is it in the gut protocol calculation if you're moderate? This is just if you're doing 4 weeks for everybody, I believe. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to portion fix because I know it's in there. And zone 2. So you're gonna have a formula. Now your second question, so first question was, what workouts am I doing? And what does that mean for calorie burn? Second question is, what's my goal? Am I looking to lose weight, maintain my weight, or build muscle? Now, if you are within 5 to 10 pounds of where you'd like to be, Autumn has always said you should be in maintenance for that. And through that, you'll be changing body composition to get that last 5 to 10 pounds. If you have more than that to lose, then you can do the weight loss bracket. If I sometimes just do maintenance because I don't feel like being, like I don't want to feel like I'm trying to lose weight. I just want to eat. And then the building muscle. So that's going to be if you're looking to add on muscle, you're still going to be eating pretty lean with this and have a lot of veggies. So it is going to be like I ate in build muscle the first time I did this and I still lost 3 pounds. So that's just part of just the types of foods we're eating and going through, but the volume is large. You should not be too hungry on this. This is going to be like, especially if you're in the build, you won't be hungry at all. You're going to be like, I don't even know how I'm going to get all this food down. Okay. So let's just go maintenance for the sake of calculating together. Yeah.
They have a whole page right here with all the 3 different formulas right in there under the program materials in the 4 weeks for everybody.
Yeah, but that's based on the 4 weeks for everybody workouts.
Yes,
not-
only if you're doing that one. Yeah.
Yeah, only if you're doing that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's so this is based on a moderate program. So 25 to 40 minutes it says 25 to 45 minutes. No, sorry, 30 to 50 minutes, 5 days a week. 2.5 to 4.5 hours a week. Okay.
Where are you at on that? Or...
I am in the portion fix resources under calculate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what's going to happen here is you're going to take your body weight times 11. And now this is maintenance. So you're going to add 400.
Oh, I think I have that.
Now, so then you would stop. That's maintenance. If you're in weight loss, you're going to take that body weight times 11, add 400, and then you're going to subtract 750. That'll probably hit most of us, I would say, on whatever calculations we're going to do. So body weight times 11, add 400, because that's taking into account the workout, and then minus 750 for the weight loss, or you're just staying same if you're in maintenance. So that's going to give you an amount of calories. You're going to then go back out. You're going to go to your gut protocol, into the resources, into the hybrid containers. It'll look like that with a bunch of container colors. You're going to find your calorie amount in these. So once you have that, you can then now put it into your tracker. You can either do a paper tracker, you can do the tracker in the app. Unfortunately, the app does not go, red A and B, yellow A and B. So you're going to have to kind of remember those things. Or if you want to do the paper tracker to start, like if that's a little bit too overwhelming, start the paper tracker. There's ones in here you can print out. And then that way you know exactly what you're hitting. So any questions about finding that bracket? You're calculating off your workouts, not just doing the plan. That makes sense. Because some of us are going to have more intense workouts than others, and you want to make sure you're fueling those workouts. And again, if at any point anybody's questions this or watching this over again, we are all available in the chat to discuss it and show pictures and do a video if we need to, whatever's necessary.
I made
Yeah.
this like for mine, 'cause I'm on plan A, and so it's kind of similar to like the tracker that they normally give you, but like some days are not. I don't eat the same that like every day, so I'll just like as I'm doing like I have 6 screens, so I'll just check one off. I like laminated it, and so
Love
every
it.
day I check it off, and then it's like so I can see throughout the day like what I have left. And so for me that was just easy, like the red A, red B, and stuff like that. So so it was just easier for me to just check them off as I was eating it, and then I'm like, okay, what do I have left over? What can I eat? So
Perfect. Yeah,
that's what I
exactly.
did.
I mean, there's so many ways to track, and you can track before you eat it, right? You can track after you eat it. You can plan out, you already know what the whole day is going to be, so you can track it that way. So you just have to figure out what works the best for you, and availability. Like I track on my phone just because I know this is always with me. If you know what I mean, do whatever you know is going to make things as easy as possible, because creating a new habit takes a little focus, and you want to make it as simple and easy as possible. So perfect. I love the lamination too. That reminds me of the Friends, the laminated list. Who's with me? Jen, you know that one? I know Bev knows it. Okay, so we got our containers. We know our workouts. Let me go back out to my list here and make sure we've covered. Okay, are there any things that I missed in the prep of this, like in the rules? We got cooked veggies. We know about beef and pork, fermented foods, sugar, caffeine. Okay, I think we're at a good base. So the thing I want to go through the tips. I think the biggest tip I can give everyone with this one is to have a mindset that is excited to try these new foods, to introduce some new foods, to go into this knowing you're not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a really great experience. And knowing you're going to feel better and being excited about how that's going to happen. Because I think when we go into it with the mindset of, I don't get to have that. I don't get to have that. That's not on my plan. Like your family's going to do something. You're like, I don't get to have that. It's more, you shift it and you're like, can you believe I get to eat this tonight? This is amazing. Look at you fools eating your pizza. So I really want you to focus in on that, because I know when we have gone through this group before, like that was the shift, the excitement about the new foods and the new recipes and the new ways of eating things, and making it an exploration versus a detriment, something that you're just like, ugh, I have to eat this salad tonight. Ugh. I mean, nobody wants to do that. But let's, think about the ways that this is going to help you, that this is going to open you up to different foods, experiences, things you didn't know you enjoyed. And I think that sets you up for success, right? None of this is going to be perfect. You're going to forget some red A and some, yellow B at some point, and something's going to mix up, and then you're going to have 3 yellow A's, and none of that is the end of the world, right? It will all work itself out. This is all practice, and we're going to be amazing at the end of this 4 weeks. We're going to think in colors, and we're going to love our veggies. So let's open it up too. Like for those of you who have done this already, I'd love to hear your best tips for this. All at once. No. Just kidding.
I would
Goals.
say lean into
I-
the group.
Yes.
Yeah,
Lean
Lean
into
into
the group.
because I never thought that I could go 48 days or whatever it was with no coffee and no alcohol, all while going on spring break and being in my RV with my husband drinking his bottle of wine right next to me. So I never thought I could do that, but with this group, I survived somehow and had no coffee, no alcohol, and lost a little bit of weight, which was not my goal. Gained a lot of energy and much more regular. And so and definitely try the foods because you never know what you might like. Definitely. I love spicy kimchi, which I never had eaten before in my life. And also the spicy cabbage. And I mean, there's actually quite a few fermented foods that I had never tried because I really didn't like fermented stuff. And now I have them in my life a lot. So
And you can have fermented foods more than 3 times. 3 is the minimum, just FYI. A lot of gut doctors recommend fermented foods daily. So
and coconut yogurt is not worth it.
oh yeah. Oh good. I'm glad you brought up the coconut yogurt. So if you're a yogurt eater and you still want yogurt in your life, you're gonna need to get the coconut yogurt. You can also do cashew or almond, but most of the time it's very hard to find a single serve in a plain that's unsweetened. You generally have to get it in a bigger serving. So look for those when you go shopping for it if you want it. It's you're doing
think-
the size of a red, but it's the count of a blue. So you're doing 3/4 of a cup of your yogurt, but it counts as a
Yeah,
blue.
that one.
There you go, Sue.
That's one of the 2 brands that we found that
Yeah.
had no added sugar, I think.
It's tricky.
Well, so, and then I think the one that I found that was cashew was Forager, I want to
Okay.
say.
And then you can
Forager,
do
I think.
almond. You can do, I think was soy allowed or was that considered ultra processed? That may have been ultra
It was
processed.
ultra
Processed. It's processed.
So
Yeah.
almond, cashew, coconut. Just know it's a little tricky to find those things. And they are not a protein like Greek yogurt is. They are a blue.
Yeah. It's
It
sad.
wasn't worth it for me.
And we all know how we feel about
No.
our blues in this group. You know,
Yeah.
there's never enough.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And yes, so the easiest thing is
Yeah.
bowls. Bowls are the easiest for lunches, for dinners. They're just which bowls, what I mean is like take some rice, take some beans or some quinoa, or your meat, whatever meat you may have, and a couple different styles of veggies, throw them into a bowl. You can throw on your avocado, your blue. But yeah, bowls are they're so super duper duper easy to throw a meal together. I don't stress over making specific recipes because then I have to figure out how I'm going to make everything else fit. So
Right.
bowls, you can just make it work.
Yeah. And there's lots of recipes too. Like speaking of, like you could do like a turkey sloppy joe or a turkey chili that are pretty basic. And then if you need to add something to it, you can, like rice or like quinoa or whatever to fit into whatever your containers are. So there's I put in my notes 30 different recipes from the blog that are gut protocol friendly. So I'll be posting one each day in our chat. So that way everybody's kind of seeing there's a lot of options out there. And anytime you can go protein veggie in a recipe, perfect, right? Because then you've got what's I would consider the hardest things in there because it's always easy to add some rice or, a carb in some way. So you've got, you've just got a base and then you can kind of add to it. But bowls are absolutely life, especially at lunchtime. It's just like, that's how you just kind of clear out the fridge.
That's exactly how we clear out our fridge.
Exactly.
Aren't we, how many vegetables are we supposed to be shooting for each week too? Was it 30?
Oh, yeah,
Or-
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that.
I-
So 30 plants a week, 30 different plants
Yeah,
a week
plants.
is a good indicator of a
vegetables.
healthy gut microbiota because
Mhm.
it's diverse and helps you get all the things in that help those little guys keep going. We're trying to
So
feed
that also includes spices. I don't know if it includes dry
it would
spices, but it
include
includes
fresh. It would
fresh,
include
fresh
fresher, I would
spices.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fresh
you want,
herbs. That's
yeah.
what I mean. Yeah.
And it's funny because everybody's like, well, what's a plant? It's a plant, right? So oats, rice, it's not just the fresh produce section. So when you're going through this first week, it's really fun to just make each day, just kind of write down the different plants you had and see how quickly you get to 30. And we'll put that in the chat too. That's a good idea. I'll write myself a note. Any other tips you'd like to give veterans of the gut protocol? Okay.
Make it simple. Make it
Yeah.
simple. That's
Well,
it.
and I would say meal prep.
Yeah.
Prep
Yeah.
either if I'm a wing it kind of person, so there's always something for me to eat in my refrigerator, especially during this plan, because you do not want to be standing next to the counter super hungry and there's something on there that's not on the plan, right? It just does not go well. So I always have brown rice or quinoa made, just so when it runs out, you just make more, right? It's just kind of on this constant loop. There's always vegetables in there. You can always have frozen vegetables, cauliflower rice, something that's immediately ready. There's always ground meat in my freezer, turkey or chicken. That way I can quickly thaw that out, or like today I just stuck it in the pan frozen and cooked it up. If you can prep some things that go together, like I said earlier, like a protein and a veggie, then you can add it to whatever. You could make a salad dressing if you're big on salads, or having the dressing in your bowl. Just those things, having things ready and then replacing them as you go through them is really key to being on plan. Just helps you feel like less stress. It sounds like a little more work, and it is in the beginning, but it's so much easier to stay on your plan and to feel really great about your day, just to be like, did it. Like I was ready for this. So highly recommend. If you have a hard time getting veggies in, put them in your shakes, throw some spinach in your eggs. Like just find ways to tuck them in. Like when I make turkey burgers, I put red peppers and zucchini in my turkey burgers. There's just ways to kind of shove things in. Or we've talked about this before, if you do a ground chicken and you add the rice cauliflower in right before you put all your taco seasoning in, it's all the same color and the kids don't know the difference. Just takes a little smoked paprika and they have no idea.
Hey, what's our thought on rotisserie chicken? Like if you like to for prep, but like or at the store, or they just have too many spices on them to make it gut
No, you're
protocol
fine with that.
friendly?
You're fine with that.
What's our
You're
thought
gonna,
on that?
yeah, no, I think rotisserie
Okay.
chicken's great. Like Lily gets the chicken at Costco that they take it off the bone for you and they put it in these containers. They're all great.
Yeah.
Little higher in sodium. So you just need to kind of pay attention to that. If you're having them a lot, then you can have a little more water retention, but you just need to kind of keep on your water and things will even out. It's not like so high that it's like anything that's like a canned chicken, canned tuna, those are all going to have a little more sodium to them, but totally good option. So yeah,
Okay.
makes it easy.
Or is it better? Cause like I do have like an Instapot. And so sometimes I'll just get the whole chicken, just dump it in the Instapot. And then, I mean, is that, I'm assuming better, just,
You
you
don't
know,
brine
getting it in
it.
there.
Yeah, you don't brine it, so there's going to be less sodium content. But like it's not so much a deterrent where I'd be like, you should make it yourself. do what's easier for
Oh,
you
okay.
in this situation, because you're likely not going to eat that rotisserie chicken every meal of that day, right? It's going to be some lunches here. You know what I mean? You're just kind of using it in the same way you could use a lunch meat or a sausage. And those are all the same types of things.
Okay.
If you're having them every single meal, then you
Okay.
may feel some of that, right? Like the water retention or just the amount of sodium you're having. If it's one-offs, then really not a big deal.
Mhm. Okay.
And take the skin off.
Okay. No skin.
The best part.
No
I
skin.
know.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, God, you already said no alcohol. Jeez.
You
I
can
know.
do it.
No.
Come on.
We
You
can
can
do
do
this,
it.
know.
Tracy.
Yeah.
We
You
can
can
do
do
this.
it. So what
I
I found
know.
was when having the kombucha, it tasted like alcohol. Like you were drinking something special, like you were having a glass of wine, like a cold, that's how I survived.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I absolutely use
Definitely.
my kombucha in places where I normally would have had alcohol. And also I liked the Spindrift seltzers, and you
Yeah.
could add a little fruit to them to make it like a mocktail. So you know what I mean? Just kind of get creative with that. I found I really just wanted something fizzy and a little fancy, like put it in a fun cup and I'm good to go. So experiment with it. See what works for you.
I would also recommend
Yeah.
to print out the food lists because they are different than normal portion fix if you're used to it or to be mindset. And so I was constantly on my phone trying to find the dang food list to figure out what I was eating or what I needed. And
Yes.
so it
I
helped a
have
lot
them in
to
little
have
like
them printed out. Yeah.
sleeves.
Yeah, look at you. You got
I'm-
like a
There you
binder
go.
and everything. You're ready.
I do. I have them in
Love it.
sleeves
There
stuff,
you
and I'm like, I had like, yeah, I'm kind of nerdy like that, and I'm like, got laminated stuff and all of them in sleeves and everything.
Yeah, and on that note, if
You
you're
know.
like an avid BOD user and or BOD app user, like the ins and outs, you're gonna know that there is a food list on here. It is the portion fix food list. So it is not the same food list for you. There are a few nuances, like quinoa is a protein on the gut protocol. It is only a protein if you're vegan on portion fix. Okay. And those like beans are on the red containers versus the yellow containers. So there's some nuances. So if you're in the tracking app where you're tracking containers, that food list is not going to match up for you. You'll want to go into the gut protocol program resources section, food list. If you're out and you've only got your phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I first did it, I printed out the food list and I kind of highlighted a lot of the things that I liked and made week 1 super simple. Like Bev said, keep it very simple. I was like, let me stick with the things I know that I like, my family's gonna like. I tried not to overcomplicate it, but then I was very surprised at how many like new things I eventually liked, like even the fermented foods and the beet kraut and the kombucha and like all the things we were trying. I was like, oh, this is actually really good. I think we all felt that way as we were going along, and we had a lot of discussion in the group page. So that's kind of what I advise is just plug into the group page, keep the food list printed, circle and highlight things you like. And I like to take the weekend to like even place an online food order so I can sit with my list and go, oh, I need more of this. I need more of this. This is on the list. And have it delivered like Sunday or Monday. And this way you're like always prepared and like you're not struggling to find things at the last minute.
Love it. Yep.
I don't know about where you guys live, but Amazon was actually a great resource for a lot of different foods that we don't normally see in Safeway or, especially with the no sugar or they just had a lot of options available. And so I did place several orders on Amazon for those types of like the kimchi and the different things like that. So
Yeah, and it's just, it's just fun to try some of these new things too. I know sometimes, if you have a tight food budget, like just set out to try one thing and see how it goes. The krauts, if you have not had sauerkraut before, these krauts are not that vinegary kind of kraut. They're more of a salty cabbage taste. And so they go really well in a bowl with other things because it just adds this nice kind of saltiness to it, but not like you put a bunch of salt in there. It's hard to explain, but it's just kind of this nice brininess that just adds some flavor to your stuff. So I'd highly recommend trying. Those are like probably the most benign, I think, of some of the fermented foods, and they're easy to try right away. Yeah, the ground turkey and beet kraut is great. I would just put it in my Mediterranean bowls because it just it's kind of like an olive, right? Where it just adds this nice kind of brininess to it. And then I talked about earlier, like dressings, barbecue sauces, things like that. A lot of them, if they're low sugar, like there are some low sugar options, but a lot of them have artificial sugars added into them. And so be cautious about that. Be cautious about the dressings. The dressings in the Ultimate Reset are amazing. Like I could take a bath in the ginger miso dressing. Like it was the best thing ever in the history of the world. And so it's one of those things where you make it once and it will for sure get you through 2 to 3 weeks. And so you could just add it to a bowl. It counts as an orange, same way, 2 tablespoons, same way an orange counts. But they're just really good and super easy to just mix up really quick. And a lot of them, you probably already have everything. Like the Greek one was like, a vinegar and an oil and some dried oregano and, just a few things that you probably already have in your house. So super good. And Ultimate Reset, if you go into that resource, so there's a tile just like there is for Gut Protocol. If you go into that tile under resources, or it could be program materials, they're both interchangeable in there. There's 60 new recipes, tastes around the world. And then there's the original recipes from the plan. A lot of them will work for you. Some of them have corn, but a lot of them will work. And so if you need some other recipe ideas, that's a great place to go check out. And as you're going through, if there's something that you're like, I really want this, can I make it Gut Protocol friendly? Just throw it in the group and let's talk about it. Because there are like the beef macaroni, that's like the Hamburger Helper that's on Fixate. I made that with bean pasta, hamburger, or turkey. You could do turkey and have it more than once. And instead of the cheese, I put in nutritional yeast. And it was delicious. Like the family thought it was the best version yet. So I made a recipe that traditionally wouldn't be Gut Protocol friendly. So lots of ways to get in there and do it.
I'm gonna try that nutritional yeast. I want to try that. I bought
It's
it
good.
and then because last time I wanted to do that this one, and I'm like, I'm definitely gonna try it this time. That cheese soup, potato cheese.
Yes, that
So,
one's
but I
really
bought
good.
that nutritional yeast.
I've made that one. Yeah.
I'm gonna use it this time.
Do it.
I'm
What
gonna do it.
Oh, I made a
My
vegan
family-
pesto from that nutritional yeast too, and it's delicious. And I can share that recipe in our group. It's super simple and really, so if you like pesto on things, it's great for the quinoa pasta or the lentil pasta, and you throw a little vegan pesto on there. Delicious.
My family likes to make, well, actually, my husband came up with it, chili cheese green beans. So you take green beans and then you like do salt and pepper, but then you use like ancho chili pepper, and then you add that nutritional yeast to it, and it tastes like chili cheese fries, but chili cheese green beans. They absolutely love it. Like it's one of their favorites.
Yeah. Well, and I
Wow.
did, when we were on Gut Protocol, I did the easy turkey chili over rutabaga fries with some nutritional yeast. Boom. Chili fries.
There you
So
go.
lots of ways to get creative, right? Like lots of ways. And that's the fun of the group. Like, so I encourage you to post your pictures. you know, show the love when other people post their pictures, because it is funny putting your pictures out there. It's always a little bit weird when you get started and you're like, why is anybody going to want to see my plate? But it really is helpful to see the different combinations that people do, because it will spark something in you to be like, oh, I like that too, and I'll try this, and or maybe I'll add this into it. So it's super helpful as we're going through to keep that going. So any questions about any GP?
Make sure when you're getting your matcha that it does not have alcohol sugars in it, because a lot of them on Amazon have alcohol sugars added to them. So you really have to read the ingredients.
You want a Japanese ceremonial matcha, honestly. Then it shouldn't have anything in it.
What is the matcha for?
If you
What do you
want
do with that?
caffeine, it's a better source. So green tea is a better source of caffeine. And Autumn, when this program came out, she replaced her coffee with a matcha in the morning. So she would make matcha lattes
Oh.
instead of a coffee in the morning. So it's just another alternative for caffeine or replacing the coffee.
Do you remember what the caffeine is in that? Is it
My
50?
packets are 100 per packet,
okay.
but I believe at my powder that I got from Costco was like, I think it's about the same, because it was like 50 for a half a teaspoon. So I think it's
Okay.
about 100 a teaspoon, and that's probably about what you use.
Yeah.
And then Jen had actually pointed out the Ticino. It's like a coffee flavored tea, no caffeine, but I used that a ton in the Ultimate Reset when I went off coffee, and it was delicious. And I still keep it up there all the time and always have. So it's a Ticino is the brand, Tee Chino. I don't know, you can sound it out on Amazon, but there's all different kinds of, they actually do have some flavors like a vanilla nut and things like that. And it's like the smell gives this sweetness, but there's nothing added. So it's really nice. If you like tea and you don't want something that's caffeinated, or you want to try to replace your coffee, it's a great alternative to that. It looks like coffee. It kind of has that coffee just feel to it. So
I was
And
trying to find the chocolate one that I had. It was really good.
oh yeah, there's a dark roast, and then there's the mocha. There's like, I always got the variety pack because there was just so many good flavors to try.
Yeah, there's the one of them.
Yeah.
That's the mocha one, but
Maybe
turned me on to the
drop a
chocolate one.
picture. Yeah, maybe drop a picture of that in the chat, Lily.
Okay.
So and just say if people want to replace coffee with a non-caffeinated tea. Because that is a good one. It tastes good. All right, so we ready to go in a few days? Everybody's ready?
Yes. Yeah.
I would say this
Yeah.
weekend,
It's just big.
plan some kind of vegetable you can just cook up, like do a sheet pan of roasted veggies. You know, just kind of get your plan together. We'll be making a few dishes in the meal prep class. If you want to actually meal prep, I wrote in the instructions, but you'll want to use chicken instead of pork, since you can only have pork once. If you're just feeding your family, have the pork. If you want to actually portion things out and have some meal prep, use a chicken or fish. And we're going to make a mug cake that does not have the only added sugar is the Shakeology. So if you're already having your Shakeology during the day, then this will just replace that, and you'll get to have an apple pie mug cake whenever you want in about 5 minutes. And then the other one is a curried quinoa, so that will be a protein with some fruit and curry. I think it's gonna be really delicious. And Jen just ordered more tea.
I'm gonna go find mine now.
Right?
And my
Okay.
mom ended up picking up, and I don't really know what the good benefits are or anything, but they've got the Yogi brand tea has the green tea kombucha.
Oh yeah.
tea.
So
So
kombucha is normally a black tea. So the green tea, it's just a different sourcing, right? I don't know that. I mean, I think green teas can like it's considered one of the better caffeines as far as your body handling it and using it and not being overwhelmed by it. I don't know if there's really much of a difference between green tea and black tea in those terms,
Mhm.
or if just green tea's gotten the marketing firm behind it for,
Could be.
you know, the shout out. But yeah. Yeah, and there's, I mean, you will be fascinated as you go through the grocery store with a gut protocol mind, as you're turning over labels, as you're looking at ingredients, all the wacky ways they list sugar, and they list it multiple times so that it doesn't get very high up on the list. So it looks like there's not very much in there. All kinds of tricky ways.
Like I said, having the tea bag, I don't know if it's gonna be the same benefits as buying the bottled stuff, but you know, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, give it a try. Give it a try. All right, well, we're already at 6. That went fast. You want me to take a picture?
Picture.
Picture time.
Should I sign Lily? Let's assign Lily to the picture.
You want me to do
Getting
it? Okay.
it up.
I know she's like,
Yeah,
All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it.
perfect. So tomorrow is Wear Red, meal prep on Sunday. Monday is go time. So yeah, we'll all be in the chats. And then our next nutrition chat will be the 20th. So we'll now be on our 2-week window. We'll be opposite of Stronger Together coach calls if you're a partner. So we'll be the 20th as our next one. All right, everybody. Well, have a good night. We'll get the recording put in the group, and ask your questions in the chat. We'll
Bye,
see you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I get to
Bye.
leave work now, so.